Akim Olufemi Gbajabiamila. God bless you all.
It's time again for another package of the legislative program House Ticket, a weekly education designed to update you on the activities of the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My name is Dihelia Mamza and I'm your guide. The House is still on recess and it is due to resume on Tuesday, 17th January 2023. On our lineup today, we will take a journey down memory lane to bring you motions on the matters of urgent public importance on insecurity moved by lawmakers within the last quarter of the year 2022, covering October to December. We also have a report on a public hearing organized by the House Committee on Commerce on 3 bills. We will wrap up the program with the extensive interview we had with Lawmaker Benjamin Okezie Kalu on issues regarding his role as the spokesman of the 9th House of Representatives. The program begins fully after this timeout. Please stay tuned.
The entire purpose of the legislative agenda is to direct our legislative resources and efforts in a coordinated effort to ensure the well-being of the individual in a life of safety and freedom. That is a high ambition, but it's well worth the effort. We have passed landmark legislation to fix our oil and gas industry, reform the police, and reorganize the corporate administration system in our country. We have considered and passed meaningful legislation that impacts all areas of our national life.
Thanks for staying tuned. We shall start off with our first report on reviews of matters of urgent public importance on insecurity spanning October to December 2022. The report is compiled is presented from our studio.
In the last quarter of the year 2022, several motions and matters of urgent public importance were presented for the consideration and resolutions of the House. One of such was moved by Representative Alhassan Rurum on the murder of a lady in Kano, allegedly by a Chinese resident.
The House noted the gruesome murder of a young lady by the name Kaltum Bahari on Friday, 16 January 2022, while in her house at Jambulo, Doraibaba in Kano State. Also note that the deceased was a corps member serving in Sokoto State. Equally note that the deceased was allegedly killed by Mr. Gayon Gorong at about 9:30 p.m. with a predetermined mission to commit the provocative act.
These generated robust contributions from the lawmakers.
Mr. Speaker, this is just one reported out of severally. I want to agree with the prayers of the mover of this very, very urgent and necessary motion. One, I will want to say, what is the legal status of this man in question? What does he do as a survivor in Nigeria? Is he in a company or is he alone? Mr. Speaker, this issue of torture, torment, Nigerians suffer in the hands of this set of persons is becoming unbecoming, is alarming, is great.
I stand to amend that the Committee on Women Affairs, Women in Parliament should join the Committee on Interior so that we
can join the Committee on Interior?
Yes, sir, to carry out this investigation.
It's very sad that someone was killed. The fact that people are being killed every day does not remove the fact that we are hurt when any life is lost.
The motion was voted on and adopted as amended.
The ayes have it.
The House also deliberated on the need to condemn attacks on offices and facilities of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. This was moved by Representative Olanrewaju Ibrahim.
Aware that on 10th November 2022, The Independent National Electoral Commission offices in Abeokuta South Local Government Area of Ogun State was set ablaze by hoodlum with no less than 65,000 uncollected PVC raised down by fire. Alongside the main building, movable assets and facilities such as 904 ballot boxes, 29 voting cubicles, 30 megaphone, 57 election bags, 8 electric power generators, and 65,699 uncollected permanent voters cards, which were reportedly destroyed.
The House, in its resolutions, resolved to condemn all forms of attack on the facilities and buildings of the federal government in the country, particularly attacks on the facilities and infrastructure of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Urged politicians and stakeholders to admonish their supporters to refrain from attacks and violence before or during the 2023 elections. The motion was voted on and adopted as amended.
With the permission of Mr. Speaker, I would like...
Another motion was moved by Representative Gideon Gwani on the gruesome terrorist attacks on Kaura Federal Constituency.
On Sunday, 17th December 2022, terrorists unleashed terror on the people of Malogum village in Kagoro and neighboring communities, killed 37 persons, stole grains, and destroyed properties worth millions of naira, among others. The House further notes that these terror attacks have been going on repeatedly.
Chairman Banking,
Within Kaura Federal Constituency.
please approach the chair.
Without proactive measures initiated to avert these ugly terror attacks on the people of Kaura local government.
He prayed that the House should urge the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development through the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to immediately provide relief materials to the victims of the attacks in Kaura local government area. Urged President Muhammadu Buhari to, as a matter of urgency, to initiate a coordinated joint security operation and provide area surveillance and support to flush out the terrorists and destroy their camps in defense of lives of innocent Nigerians and avoid reoccurrence, among other things.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Being a straightforward motion, it was voted on and approved, and a minute's silence was observed in honor of the victims.
For the souls of the departed, rest in peace.
You are still on to House Ticket, your weekly companion, bringing you the activities of members from the Green Wing of the National Assembly. Coming up next is a report on the one-day public hearing organized by the House Committee on Commerce. Please stay tuned for the details.
The House Committee on Commerce held a one-day public hearing on 3 bills, namely, a bill for an act to amend the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2011 and for related matters, a bill for an act to establish Auctioneers Registration Council of Nigeria for the purpose of regulating and monitoring the business and practice of auctioneers and auctioneering in Nigeria and for related matters, and a bill for an act to establish Institute of Corporate Professionals of Nigeria and for related matters. This was on Tuesday, 13th December 2022.
There be a public hearing of any new law.
Chairman of the committee, Representative Femi Fakeye, in his opening remarks commented on the bills under consideration. On the bill to amend the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, the chairman said the bill emanated from the Senate for the House to ratify the provisions. He, however, described the Auctioneers Registration Council of Nigeria as being very critical to the economy of the country.
So it's a very important part of the economy, and we have a bill that we are going to take a look at. It does not matter whether there's 10,000 auctioneering agencies already, or companies or entities. The thing is, anybody has a right to step forward to say, okay, we too want to start. So our job is to say, okay, fine, on what terms are you starting? And that is why we're here this morning, to look at the terms of their starting. So the job is not to say, no, you can't do it. But if you want to do it, these are the terms and conditions that you have to observe.
Stakeholders commented both in support and against the bill.
Auctioneering is a very, very important thing, and there is a lot of money which the auctioneers can make for government. Now, I know 1 or 2 states have taken by the horn, have their own regulating body. because I'm told. But this is for the federal government.
For the first time, I believe we are having a statute to regulate the practice of professional auctioneers in Nigeria, which is commendable.
Auction is huge industry. It's a huge industry with potential to contribute to our national growth and employment generation. If properly and professionally regulated, if it's properly regulated, if the bill of the Charter of Auctioneers can be assented to, there will be regulations. There are going to be regulation to regulate people who have the skill, minimum standard, who are in practice, so that they can do the right thing.
Some members of the committee assured the stakeholders that the committee will look into issues raised.
I will advise that we don't push ourselves to the debates which has been done in the House before now, because the committee has the final answer to what arose from the discussion of the public hearing.
The third bill, which seeks to establish Institute of Cooperative Professionals of Nigeria, also drew presentations, comments, and questions.
This institute, therefore, attempts to bring us together so that we can all operate on the same page and set the ethical practice for the profession.
Back in the day, we had School of Agriculture, School of Health, School of Hygiene, School of Cooperative School in Ibadan. So if anybody went through that school and is still alive, and it's not a party or a part of this act we are trying to establish, is an illegal practitioner of cooperative activities or what? I want to understand.
Mr. Chairman, like in every practice, there are sharp practices. And what the body hopes to achieve is to set ethical standard that will, to a very large extent, mitigate some of these sharp practices.
So if you go to the objective of that bill, it has something to do with, among others, provide qualitative training, retraining, and to professionally empower, and all the rest of them. It goes on. So there are two different things from what you explain here, and these, they are not the same. Just like you have your ICANN and you have your other body.
In another committee room, the House Committee on Power also held a public hearing. This was on Thursday, the 5th of January 2023, to consider a bill to amend the Electric Power Sector Reform Act 2005. The hearing was presided over in the conference room by the Chairman, House Committee on Power, Engineer Magaji Da'u Aliu.
As a responsive legislature,
Honorable Abubakar Abdullahi represented the Speaker in declaring the hearing open.
today event is yet another effort toward strategizing the power sector for optimal result. All segment of a society in this is taken. As such, those did not get the opportunity to make submission the last time are now presented with the opportunity to lend their voices to the discussion on the process of amendment bill.
The bill, among other things, seeks to provide the legal and institutional framework for the implementation and coordination of rural electrification projects, establishment of the National Power Training Institute, and prescribe regulatory provisions to strengthen the sector for efficient service delivery.
It is at your instant that the Speaker gave this instruction that we should cut our lip short, stop the campaigns, and come and listen to Nigerian Governors Forum concern. And I would like the stakeholders to listen attentively to what are these concerns, more especially NAC. If anybody feel concerned about their concerns, you should equally let us know, because we are going to receive this document from them today, and I'm not going to lock ourselves into a room and take it all and think out. If the stakeholders feel strange about anything in this document being presented by the Governors Forum, you are allowed to make your own contribution.
The Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF, was represented by the Head of Legal Matters, Mr. Chijioke Chuka. He presented the proposal of the forum to the House Committee. The proposal, amongst other things, seeks the creation of power regulatory entities across the states of the Federation.
So for us, the overarching intent for making this presentation is to
is to afford the states the right of states to establish electricity market for themselves, and also the transition of regulatory responsibility from the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission to state regulatory entities.
Mr. Chijioke Chuka further highlighted the NGF's call for the amendment of Section 61 of Principal Act to allow for the right to establish power generating and transmitting markets in their respected territories, thereby decentralizing the power sector.
The NGF notes that the amendment proposed to Section 71 sub 6 is an unwarranted and unjustifiable attempt to re-establish the statutory monopoly that was enjoyed by the former National Electric Power Authority, NEPA, before it was removed by the EPSRA in 2005. Ending that monopoly is one of the key planks of the reform of the sector, contained in both the National Electric Power Policy and the EPSRA. Removing that plank by conferring a statutory monopoly on the distribution companies, DISCOs, effectively means both the end of electricity sector reform and the worsening of the absence of energy security under which all the states labor.
To rejig the national electricity supply industry, NESI.
Making his presentation, the State Minister of Power, Godi Jedi Agba, assured the House Committee on the ministry's willingness to collaborate towards making the power sector more efficient.
As a ministry which oversees the power sector, we are excited at the prospects offered by this bill to strengthen the legal and institutional framework, as well as facilitate the rapid reforms which the sector needs for the growth of the electricity market in the post-privatization phase of NESI. The bill is significant in many respects for its innovative and transformative nature. Foremost is the legal validity it accords the privatization of NESI under the Electric Power Supply Reform Act 2005, which effectively dismantled the hitherto vertically integrated monopoly with all its imperfections and made the industry to become private sector driven.
The National Union of Electricity Employees was represented by its General Secretary, Mr. Joe Ajero. In his presentation, he mentioned critical challenges with the electricity sector.
We stated that the option of controlling 60% shares of the facilities as against 40% inclusive of negotiated 10% equity shareholding, in line with the laws setting the National Council on Privatization, is long overdue after 9 years. Like the workers' representative, we are supposed to have certain percent there. 9 years after privatization, we have not been called upon to buy the shares that is meant for us. And we say this is long overdue. Nobody is even discussing about it.
Mr. Ajaero added that since privatization of the power sector over a decade ago, key provisions in the Act which call for a review of the privatization process every 5 years has continually been ignored by the federal government, giving rise to huge spending on power by the government. After the submissions, the chairman of the committee brought the hearing to a close.
Close the session by saying thank you for coming. Thank you.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned. Like I mentioned at the beginning, House Cttee sought out the spokesman of the Ninth House of Representatives, Representative Benjamin Okezie Kalu, to discuss pertinent issues as it relates to his role as well as the Ninth House. The lawmaker spoke on how it has been for him as the spokesman of the House since inception till date.
Being the spokesperson of the House has put me on my toes from the day the position was given to me till now, because you double as the image maker of the House of Representatives, which means you are the mirror through which the public sees how a lawmaker should comport himself, how a lawmaker should carry himself, how a lawmaker should reflect the knowledge of the workings of the National Assembly, especially in this case, House of Representatives. If you sound knowledgeable, the House of Representatives will be adjudged knowledgeable. If you sound empty, the House of Rep will be described as being empty. So you're like the ambassador of the 360 members of the House. So it comes with the responsibility of ensuring that you are one step ahead of time.
As the mouthpiece of the House, Lawmaker Kalu told us how he was able to effectively communicate with relevant stakeholders about the programs and policies of the House.
There was this opaqueness, surrounding the activities of the House, and we needed to unbundle it, to make it more clear, more transparent, to enable the public understand the workings of the House of Representatives. The reason being that being the fulcrum of democracy, this particular arm of government is the one that is easily attacked when there's a change of government. And not too long we were in military dispensation, so we've not really advanced this arm of government. So the understanding of the workings of this arm of government has not been embraced by Nigerians so well. So the expectation management by Nigerians from this arm of government is actually not well-rounded with regards to the constitutional mandate. So, but it is our duty to tell our own stories. It is our duty to bring them on board the information platform of what the Constitution says that we're expected to do, what we are doing, what we intend to do, and how we are doing it, where we are doing it, and when we are doing it.
He also told us how he was able to discharge his duties anytime some of his colleagues take positions based on party lines.
The Parliament is the congregation of varieties of colors, of political parties. And that's why we say it's a joint task, nation building. When we gather under that roof for plenary, it is for nation building. And we don't see the colors of parties at that point. We see the colors of the needs of Nigerian people. And we begin to look at how neutral the solution should be, so that it will not look at the face of Mr. A or Mrs. B in profiling this solution, but a solution that will be universal and impactful on all citizens of the country. So if, for example, a particular political party member, maybe felt a position taken by the majority is against their own political philosophy, they have the right to express that. But in democracy, the number matters. The majority opinion is what will always, have the day and have the way, but the minority will always have their say.
On a final note, the lawmaker spoke on some other vital issues.
We are better off as a big, indivisible nation. We'll be more respected if we fix our problems and stay united as one. And let us, as leaders, let us have a listening ear to those who are complaining. They might have a point they are trying to make. Let's hear them, and let's not be biased towards solutions that will help resolve whatever acrimony or rancor that, or displeasure or complaint that they have. Let's be open-minded towards resolving the people of Nigerians, because we have no nation outside Nigeria. Let our core purpose be nation building.
That was Lawmaker Benjamin Okezie Kalu in an exclusive interview with House Ticket on a wide range of issues. House Ticket will be back after this short timeout. Do keep watching. This is where we draw the curtains for this week's package of the program House Ticket. Do not forget to send in your questions, observations and comments on our social media handles showing on your screen. We'll do our best to get our representatives address them accordingly. You can also watch our previous programs from there. My name is Dihelia Mamza, signing out. See you soon.